And welcome everyone to the first edition of Between Two Ferns GitLab Style. I am one of your hosts, Joe Longo, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Ty Dilbeck. Ty, you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, Dilbeck, security risk. I'm here for comedic relief. Joe has some good cybersecurity awareness month questions for us. We're looking forward to being joined by Eric and Rob. Eric, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Eric Rubin. I'm the Senior Manager of IT Security Operations here at GitLab.
Rob, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, Rob Ray. I'm IT Operations Director here at GitLab, just over a year now with GitLab. I was thinking of wearing my Stormtrooper helmet, but I couldn't get it working with my headset, so I'm just rock and roll.
All right. Well, thank you both for being on the call today. I really appreciate it. So today's topics are going to be patching, mobile device security, personal security awareness, a bunch of topics that we think are really important for everybody to learn and understand more about. So we're going to dive into some of the questions and hopefully it'll be a entertaining conversation. So let's start off with patching. So Rob and Eric, how do you know when to patch your laptops, your phones, any of your devices? How do you know when's the best time to patch everything?
Sure, yeah, I can take that for your corporate laptop, your MacBook certainly. IT will generally push a notification to your laptop, which will tell you when a patch is available, and usually we'll time bound it as well and say, hey, if we give you a number of days to install it, and then after that point, we push the patch to your system if it hasn't been installed. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's generally how it would happen. We appreciate everybody that takes heed of it and does it quickly. It's most appreciated. Yeah.
Okay, great. And what about so that's for corporate devices, right? What about personal devices? How do you know when to patch? When's the best time to patch your personal laptop or your phone or your kids' devices? When do you do that?
Well, you can certainly take advantage of the fact that we for Apple devices that will notify you when your corporate device needs to be patched. That's probably good. Idea then to go and patch your personal devices. Eric, have you got any other tips maybe on other places where you might see?
Sure. Yeah, what I've been seeing, especially lately with Apple, and this may not always hold true, but the latest rounds of Apple patches have also been at the same time patches for iPhones and iPads. So that's a good time to go check when you know you patch your work device. Go check those devices to see it under settings, general, to see if there's a patch available.
Okay. Okay, great.
I have a question for y'all. Can y'all envision a world where there's no patching?
No.
I don't believe that's ever going to happen.
I think that, perhaps when computers take over humanity, they would create a more efficient patching process for themselves. Or maybe they'll just utilize us to patch.
Maybe they'll patch us instead. Yeah, so we don't do anything silly with the computer. Yeah.
I can envision that would be a pretty optimal way to utilize us for patch management. If nothing else, leave us with a job. We'd be employed in that world.
It's job security.
Yeah. Maybe we go back to the abacus, did they have to patch abacus back in the day? No?
Maybe like if the rings start to fall off because you've slid them up and down so much, you might need to go to the physically patch it with like a piece of wood or something. You could create for your abacus.
I wonder what the equivalent of like hacking was back in the day. They used to have these like standard weights and things like that, but like if you shaved a bit off the weight or added something to the weight, that would be hacking the computers. Anyway.
You should document that so that the last of humankind understands patch management.
And then GitLab handbook.
Perfect. And the GitLab handbook.
Yeah, we need it on papyrus though.
All right, so switching topics here a little bit, talking about personal phones. How do you protect iPhones and Androids?
Yeah, so best practices obviously is to set a passcode. The longer, the more complex, the better. Utilize the biometric things offered by the device, so Face ID, Touch ID, the Android equivalents Those have been tested and are really pretty good. Don't worry, your fingerprint and your face print, they stay local on the device. They don't get shipped off to Apple. And they're just used to unlock the secure enclave to gain access to those credentials. So those are good techniques to securely access your phone and access other sites as well. And we would advise also don't root your Android, don't jailbreak your iPhone. I believe for your iPhones, that's becoming less and less popular these days. They haven't updated the jailbreak stuff in a while, but best practices just stay within the software provided by either Apple or Google.
Okay. And what is the best practice for passcodes, right? Like easy enough to remember my birth date. Should I be putting that as my passcode? Should I be putting my kids' birthdays as a passcode? My debit card PIN number? What's the best practice for setting and creating passcodes on your phone?
The longer and the more complex, the better, right? Especially if you don't wish to share that with everybody around you, family and friends. Obviously, it's better to use something unique and special for you.
And do they still have those on Android where you can like move your finger around and you make some cool designs and that's how you unlock your phone? Do they still have that? Is that better than a passcode?
I would say probably it's better than a basic passcode. Yes.
Is that still around? I don't know. I don't have an Android. I don't know.
It's been a few years now since I used an Android, but yeah. But think of Android as well. Particularly when installing software, you should remember when you install some software, your Android device will generally tell you the various things that the application wants to have access to, which can be quite illuminating. So be very careful, I think, when something is asking for access to something you wouldn't expect it to do. I think it might be a sign that maybe you don't want this application. Think of all the sort of smart wallpaper and dubious type of applications that are available on Android. I don't feel that's as big a problem on iPhone. I don't think those applications tend to get onto the App Store so much. But I don't know what your experience.
Rob, you mentioned dubious applications.
Dubious, yeah.
Do you like plants?
Do I like plants? I'm not great at growing plants, but yeah, plants are good. I'm nothing against plants.
So they may not like you, but you like them.
Yeah, possibly.
I read recently that someone has used software to enable plants to wield machetes. It's a real thing. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's only fair, I suppose, that they're getting a chance to chop us down. We've been chopping them down for so many years, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Turn around is fair, no?
To patch their software. Eric, how does that make you feel?
I'm running for the barren deserts of Las Vegas or Nevada, where there's the plants seem very fixed to the ground, cactuses. So as long as I can avoid them, I think I'd be okay.
It's a dubious application.
That'd be
I'm
dubious.
not in IT. I am in security.
Would that be dubious or a nefarious application?
Malicious.
Both, maybe. Yeah. The makes me think of Plants vs Zombies game. Cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's vetted. It's in the Apple Store, Google Store. That's okay. The machete application is not vetted. Do not recommend. Third party risk management has not vetted the plant.
Okay.
Machete application.
Good stuff. Sure.
So on that topic, talking about app stores and applications, is it safe to download apps outside of the standard app stores? Is that something that's recommended? Is you find plant machete app and you think it's something cool that you want to install and it's from some website, is it safe to download and install from that website, or is it not recommended?
Yeah, so that would not be recommended. If you get it from an application outside of the standard app stores, Google Play Store, you're missing out on the protection that those providers are providing to make sure that they're secure and validated and not trying to steal all your data without your permission.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, there's probably reasons they're avoiding that scrutiny. There may be occasional exceptions where they're doing it for the best of reasons, but in most cases, they probably don't have your best interests at heart.
So switching gears a little bit while we're still on the topic of being attacked by things, what is a SIM swap or a phone port attack? These sound a little scary, and I'm curious to understand what they are.
Yeah, so that's when someone goes to your provider and has them steal your phone number, put it on a device that they control. They often want to do that because they want to use your phone number as a password reset tool or otherwise gain access to your accounts. Maybe they already have your password, but you have SMS two-factor authentication. So then when they go to get into that account, they need to receive the one-time code on your phone. This especially has been seen a lot with cryptocurrency. So for those Bitcoin millionaires out there, I'd be very concerned about a SIM swap account.
Okay, so I'm a big crypto guy. I got my Bitcoin, my Ether, and whatnot. What can I do to protect against someone trying to steal my phone number and port it over to another phone or something like that? What can I do?
Yeah, so you can set a personal passcode with the provider, and I would choose something complex, probably not your mother's maiden name. It's also genuinely a good idea to not give out personal information to people who don't need it. Of course, that's sometimes unavoidable as everybody wants your name, phone number, and things to get services, but be very cautious about who you give out information to. Finally, and probably the best sort of defense against this type of attack is to use more secure type of two-factor. So use an app-based authenticator such as Authy or Google Authenticator, which has a rotating code, or even better, if you can go up a tier to like Push or WebAuthn, more advanced types of two-factor, so that if someone was to steal your phone number, they still wouldn't be able to gain access to these accounts.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Um, what do what do I do if somebody steals my social security number? Right. I mean, that's pretty prevalent now. I feel like a lot of criminals and nefarious individuals are going after people's socials. They're trying to steal it. They're trying to, open credit cards in my name or do all these other things. What do I do if that happens to me? Am I just supposed to accept it? Am I supposed to start paying all the bills? What do I do?
Yeah. So the best thing you can do is you can freeze your credit report with each of the major providers. That does make when you go to apply for a new credit card, it makes it much more of a hassle, but that'll prevent them from opening new accounts in your name without your permission. Prior to that, in what we should all do on a regular basis is monitor at least in the US, monitor our credit using websites like creditkarma.com that will give you, let you pull your report pretty much unlimited times. Each of the bureaus also offer one free credit report per year. Um, so you can kind of monitor, even if you don't believe your social security number has yet been taken or used nefariously, you can monitor for new accounts. For example, Credit Karma, my personal experience is I have applied for a credit card within like the next morning, I get an email saying, "Hey, was this you applying for a credit card here?" So they have really good monitoring real time. And obviously that would enable you to take quick action before the thief would even be able to really get the account open and do any real damage.
Okay, great. And then who do I call if my social security number gets stolen? Like, do I call you both, IT, security, and is that who I go to if my social gets stolen?
You probably need some real professional help with that if it actually
Okay.
happens. We should look to see if GitLab has a program for that sort of thing.
I should check if there's a handbook page on stolen social security numbers. I will give that a run through later. What do I do if I'm traveling? Am I supposed to hop on the hotel Wi-Fi and do some work? Am I supposed to go sit in Starbucks and get on their Wi-Fi? What's a recommended technique for security while traveling?
Yeah, so we understand everyone travels. We all love to travel and go everywhere, me especially. But you should definitely pay attention to the network that you're on and make sure that you're communicating securely with your service. So you're using your work laptop, you're communicating, for example, with Okta. Um, you can always double check in the upper left corner to make sure of the URL bar, make sure you're using HTTPS. So that means all your traffic is encrypted. Thankfully, that's becoming pretty common on most websites on the internet. But if you're in a location outside of your house, oftentimes they'll at least be even they won't be able to see the actual traffic. They'll be able to see um, the different websites that you went to because DNS itself is often unencrypted. That's changing, but typically right now most DNS is unencrypted. So how GitLab recommends best practice to use a VPN while traveling. So GitLab will reimburse you for a VPN solution. And the easiest way to get one is the fact that we make Nord Layer available to all of our employees. And there's a handbook page we can link that can show you how to get a Nord Layer account. It's a super easy app to use, installs very easily on your Mac. You can choose different servers per country. So if you're traveling, you don't have to worry about all your traffic being rerouted far away to your home country. So yeah, would recommend you use that while you're traveling.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that is any sort of public setting, it's appropriate probably to use a VPN. So think of your co-work facility, or as you said, if you're working from Starbucks, anywhere that's potentially a public setting where you're on a shared network.
Sure. So my mother is my kids call her Kai Kai. Found out I was meeting with leadership in IT, which is scary, right? Kai Kai doesn't understand a lot of the nuances of the new technological world that we live in. And she had 5 questions coming at y'all really fast. Fast 5 to wrap this up. First,
We did discuss
Rob,
this
are you
now
confident?
No, we didn't discuss this at all in the green room. So what's going on here?
I know
Yeah.
we didn't. Yeah. Kai Kai surprising us. So Rob, first, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that we are not living in a simulated reality? 1 to 10.
1. I'm not confident at all.
You're not confident at all.
That's total
Eric,
simulation.
what about you?
Glitches every now and then.
3 because it feels real to me. So they're doing a good job fooling me.
Joe, what about you?
Oh, I'm answering questions too. Okay. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna say 8. I think we're good.
You think we're good right now?
Yeah, I think we're good.
And Joe's very trusting. All right. Is Sid a computer? Joe, yes or no?
I'm sorry, what?
Is Sid a computer?
Yes.
Oh, Eric.
Oh, the question's for me. He seems like a pretty real, genuine guy. I'm going to go with no.
We got a tiebreaker, Rob.
Well, I'll be consistent, referring back to the previous question. If we're all in a simulation, then ultimately we all are an aspect or a computer to an extent. Including Sid.
Rob's the smartest of us all.
So Rob already answered the next question. Is Rob a computer? Yes, clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
Clearly, obviously.
All right.
Yeah.
Does Alexa listen to us all of the time?
Yes.
That guy wants to know.
1000%.
Joe says yes, but Joe isn't a trusted source because he's not actually in IT.
Isn't there a little thing you can slide on your Alexa device? Because I have one that says that she won't be listening to you, but I don't really. Do we really believe that she's not listening at that point?
That's the question. Yeah, Kai wants to know.
It's kind of a
Eric, what do you
placebo,
think?
I think.
We'll have to get Jeff Bezos in here to answer this one for sure.
He's definitely a computer.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
No,
he might be running the
simulation. He's aging backwards. He looks fantastic, by the way. Like if he's a computer, sign me up. Yeah. All right. Finally, if the computers revoked human access to the internet, do you think you could rebuild it, Rob?
It's not so much like if I could rebuild it, should I rebuild it? It's more of an ethical question,
dilemma, really.
Yeah. Maybe we'd be better off without it at this point.
I like where you're going with this, Rob.
Mm.
That's interesting. You would be unemployed.
Okay, there'd be no
You
SaaS
are a leader in
applications. I'd be out of a
technology.
job, etc. That's not going to be
Yeah,
very positive,
yeah.
but yeah. Well, I'm the wrong person. I could build maybe 0.00001% of it. I'd be relying on smarter people to help me reconstruct.
Yeah, Eric, do you think you could reconstruct the internet?
Me personally, no.
Yeah.
We would need a pretty big team, like millions of people, especially for the tin cans and string that hold it all together.
I know the tubes. Yeah, Kaikai's disappointed. She wanted to team up with y'all to
Rebuild
help
it.
rebuild the internet. She wants to
We
be
could
on the
probably
winning
rebuild it
side.
in her house. Me and Eric could kind of set up a house kind of internet, and maybe
I know.
kind of.
There's a lot of concern about the robot takeover, which I think is inevitable, but hopefully not.
Have you got any
anytime
robots
soon.
in your house? Got a Roomba?
Just my children.
Oh, okay.
All right, Joe, over to you.
All right. Well, I thought this was a really productive conversation, covered a wide array of topics, everything from questioning our own reality to robots to patching, mobile device security, and personal security awareness. So, Rob, Eric, thank you very much for joining us. Ty, thank you as always. And this has been the first edition of Between Two Ferns GitLab Style, and hope to see you all again. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much. See ya.